welcome back on the channel. On today's video, in continuation to the campaign maps theme, I wanted to showcase you my rules for the campaign I'm going to start for Brittany. I think these rules, because they're basically heavily based, or I could say copy-paste with obviously some alterations, from a brilliant board game I used to play as a young man called Warriors of God. I think they work really well. They provide a strategy and a strategic, let's say, thought on the campaign map, and also provide a lot of battles that make the campaign more interesting. If you consider the campaigns and the one Warriors of Dog that I haven't finished yet, that I will finish, provided battles not very often. So I think by basing the rules on Warriors of God, it looks a lot more interesting and fun. So let's talk a little bit about the map. So in the map, as you can see, we have the Brittany provinces. Every province has a Norman numeral of 2 here, as you can see, 3, 2, and has also borders that, although this is, let's say, a geopolitical map in a way, we have a couple of terrain features in the borders between the areas, and I will explain to you what is this for. Now, the Norman numerals are, let's say, the value of each area. So when this area is occupied and controlled by an army, this would be the Montfortists or the Franco-Bretons from Blois, will get 2 victory points every turn. I mean, every initiative that's finished, and then you go to a new initiative, you will get the victory points over the provinces you have. Also, this number provides the number of troops, the number of points, depending on what rules you're using. I thought about it, I did some calculations, and I think probably because I'm working with a skirmish game and when working with a specific number of troops, I'm not back home, these 2 will be points. So you will get 9 points or 10 points. That would mean in Blood and Crowns 2 or 3 or 4 troops, and slowly you will build up your armies. So important number. And also this number plays a role if you decide to give and offer a siege to your opponent who is trying to conquer this area. So these numbers are important. We have Braun of Nauned. This is where Nantes is, with 3, and another 3 will be where we have Rennes. We have 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. 1 is Lyon, and 1 is the area of Dole. So these are the Norman numerals. Now, the geographical, let's say, features in the borders of every province are exact copy-paste, but a little bit different denominations of Warriors of God. So depending on what features you have, there's specific number of commanders that can cross. So if you have woods, you can cross 2 commanders. If you have river with a bridge, you can cross 3 commanders. If you have a river without a bridge, 1 commander. If you have mountains or hills, there's 2 commanders. So this provides a very interesting strategic option, because depending on what terrain feature you have, you can move your commanders accordingly. So again, you have to plan ahead. You need to know that maybe if from your opponent, your terrain feature, the division between the borders of yours and your enemy's provinces is a river, you know that he can cross only 1 unit. Only 1 commander, that thus making you maybe a bit more safe and feeling a bit more comfortable than having a border with an opponent, let's say, that is forest, and he may cross 2 commanders, or a river with a bridge. So all these areas have their separate strategy regarding the defense of the area. So this is something that they have in Warriors of God, a little bit less, more simple, but again, at the same time, I think it provides a really interesting setup. Now you have France here, as you can see. France will provide 1 unit, 1 point in every, let's say, phase for the Blois faction, and you have here the ships where you have 1 commander who can use the ship connection in order to move around and maybe attack your opponent by sea, but this can be used only by the English. So the advantage of the English is that they can use a ship with 1 commander and the French provide 1 point. At the moment, I think it's 1 point, maybe it could be, except the points they will get from the provinces they hold, the Blois faction. 1 point for the Blois army. It could be 2. We'll think about it. We have to play the game to see how it works every time a turn finishes. So how the game works, and let's talk about it. First of all, you need to have commanders. In Warriors of God, it's a bit more complicated. So you start with a number of commanders that have 3 stars, 2 star, and 1 star. Now, depending on the stars, obviously you understand it's a higher rating and the higher noble. 3 stars, we don't have anybody here. It's a small Brittany game. I would be 2 stars will be Charles of Blois or Montfort, and you can have probably Robert Knowles or some other French commanders that will be 2 stars, and the remaining will be 1 star. Now this star gives a couple of will have a couple of advantages for the commander. 1 star would be how many units a commander can control. Currently, because I'm playing a skirmish game, the commander can control 2 units. If he's 2 stars, he will be able to control 2 units plus his unit, the retinue unit, 3. If he's a 1 star, he will be able to control 1 unit plus his retinue, so 2. 3 star will have more. Obviously, we'll have a lot of commanders here, so the armies will get quite big. Every turn, you have 1 commander added to the fold, and you can place him wherever you want on the terrain, as long as it's controlled by your faction. And you start with 3 commanders. This can get a bit more interesting. Obviously, the stars of the commanders play a role in the sieges, as we will see. But this is getting interesting if you have a specific number of commanders and specific names chronologically that will appear on the battlefield. And this is what happens actually in Warrior of God, many more commanders. So let's say we start. How do we start? Let's say the English at the beginning will start with 3 commanders. I consider that Nantes, the area of Blois, Nauned, as it's called in Britannic, is the starting point of the Montfortists, and it's a 3 valued province. And the area of Rennes, it's called Bro Razon in Britannic, again a 3 stature province will be the starting point, will be the provinces that will be controlled by Charles Blois faction. So you start with 3 commanders. This will go in more detail if I show you the commanders and everything, but let's do it slowly. You start with 3 commanders. Now here, 3 commanders can be 1 star commanders, because I would denominate 2 star commanders with a flag, and maybe you can have a 3 star commander that could be mounted, and this will be in other games with more. So at the moment, let's say we start with 3 star commanders, and they're specific commanders with names. It could be Robert Knowles, it could be Sir Hugh Calverley, who played an important role during the Wars of Britain Succession, and the French will start with a similar force of 3 commanders who, as I said, will go to the area of Rennes. So we have our starting commanders, and let's see how the game works. So you roll 2 dice, and this is how it's been happening in Wars of God. And let's roll 2 dice, the red for the English, the blue for the French. You roll 2 dice, and you have a 6 and a 2. The initiative goes to the English. Now the English get the die number of the French added 2, so they have 4 impulses, as they're called, and the French get 3 impulses. So 4 impulses for the English. So you determine the initiative player and the number of action impulses for a turn. So the English have 4, as you said, and the French have 3. Now conduct action impulses. Now the action impulses will be to move a leader, to remove an enemy control marker, or to pass, or to put your own control marker in area. So we decide to move the commanders, and now the English have the first action impulse, and from 4 they will go to 3, and they want to cross Brovened. This is a border, that is a border of woods, so they can pass 2 commanders. The English are not worried, so they will pass both commanders here, and they will leave 1 commander here at Rennes and at Nantes. Why were they not worried, the English, that much of being of their home city? And I'll put this dice to show that, but you can make some beautiful cards that they are controlled, these areas are controlled originally. So why the English are not worried, and that's why the strategy comes, is because Nantes and Rennes are divided by a river, and the river without a bridge allows only 1 noble to attack. to cross and attack. That means that the French cannot bring a large army to take over the very important 3 valued area and the home, let's say, city, the home province of the faction. So the English feel quite safe. So this is the one impulse for the English. Now the French have their own impulse. They will go to 2, and obviously they want to cross the area at Bro-Saint-Malo. Again, they have the same thought. The English cannot cross more than 1. They will leave 1 leader. The leaders are named and stars. So we have here once, and already they cross and this area. So the English have 3 impulses. They will use 2 and get the province for themselves. And the French, obviously, afterwards will go to 1 and will take the province for themselves. Now, the English, should the English extend, should the English move and go to the Cornouailles area? There is division between the English province here, well, not the English, the Breton, English, the Montfortist faction, and they can cross 2. Commanders can cross, and here again they're divided by a river with the province of the Blois faction, so only 1 can come. So the English will use another impulse, and they will go to 1 and cross to Cornouailles, and obviously they will use the last impulse to control it. The French have again the same thought. The English are stretched, and obviously they can move in Penthièvre and take the area. And this is the last for the French. They don't have any impulses, so this area cannot be controlled yet. The English have 1 more impulse, so they control Cornouailles, and this is the end of the round. So what we have here now, we count now how many victory points and how many unit army points the English and the French won. So the English, for this round, they hold 3, 5, 7 army points and 7 victory points. The French have a 3 and a 2. They didn't manage yet to get Penthièvre. It's not enough time for the French commander to capture the area. They didn't have enough impulses. So on the French 7. This will be added, and every time you have victory points. Now, in the game of Warriors of God, the victory points are 30. I think it could be a little bit more here. I mean, you can go to 60 or 70 or 10 or 100, or even divide what you get. And also for us to be able to get decent armies. But it makes sense. So now we have the other turn where we have 1 commander for each faction. This is nice to be let's say in a predetermined order, and you know who is coming, and you have another specific leader from the English and another for the French. And now things are getting more interesting. Now, first of all, you roll and see what is your initiative. The English get 2 and the French get 2. The winner of the previous initiative gets it, so it's the English, so the English get a 4. They get a +2, as we said, and the French get a 3. So the English have the initiative again. What they're planning to do, probably, this area is very important for the English. It connects. The English can put, first of all, a commander can be placed wherever he wants. Now, that's my mistake. So a commander can be placed in any area that's controlled by the English. So he can be placed here. So I don't lose an impulse. Strategically, it's up to you where the commander will be placed. And the French the same. Maybe the French would like to push him in Penthièvre. So he can have 1 impulse and reach Trégor. So you can place your commanders as you like. So the English and the French place their commanders. The English want to move. I don't think the English have any other movement. They don't want to overextend yet. Maybe the French will use 1 impulse to take over Penthièvre. Here is a river. 1 only commander can cross. They can cross here. Let's say the English don't want to do anything else. Or let's say the English will move to Lyon and use the other impulses to control Lyon, and the French control the area of Trégor. And let's say we finish the turn like this. Again, now we see the south of Brittany is controlled by the Montfortists. The north of Brittany is controlled by the Blois, and they get now the turn is finished, and we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points, victory points for the English, plus 8 points for the army, plus the 5 they had before, or the 7. It goes 15. You see how it builds up. And you have here for the French 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Dole is not captured yet. 9 victory points, but the French get 9 also. Army points, and we forgot previously that they get 1 from France. So this is how the game works. Now you'll tell me how it works with the battles. Obviously, it's very, very interesting to get battles. So the English and the French get another commander. It depends on you how many commanders would you like the English and the French to have. Could be 10, 15, 20, depending on the game. So let's say the English get another commander, and the English will put him in the friendly area of Cornouailles. It's not occupied, and the French want to pile up the pressure. Now, the French, if they could attack for Penthievre, because the area of Dinan has a river dividing it to the English. This area is very critical. I think this is a very critical area for everybody. It's a let's say not 2-star. It's a 2 points area, and it connects. It's the center of Brittany. So the French probably will put their commander here in Penthievre because they have the option of moving in both areas, because this is a mountain and they can cross. Two commanders can cross, two leaders. Now let's roll and see. Here it's becoming interesting. So we have a 2, 5, and a 2. The English win. They get the 2 of the French. They add another 2, so they have 4 impulses, and the French have 3 impulses. So let's start again. See what the English could do. They place the commanders, and the English will start. The English probably will not be aggressive yet, because here in this area, it's a dangerous area to live without protection by the commanders, and here they're quite stretched, but I really don't know what the English could do. You see, it provides a lot of options. Let's say the English want to attack. Let's say that this English commander, a 1-star commander, let's give another command. Let's say that the English are bringing a 2-star commander. So this, because it has a flag. So this 2-star commander controls 2 units, plus his 3. So the English want to become aggressive, and they decide with 1 impulse to attack the French commanders. Immediately, you put an aggression marker. The English are the aggressors. You can put better than this. Let's go and zoom in and let's see what's going to happen. So the English attacking, and you have an aggressor marker. Now the English, whatever happens, they cannot move. If in a province the enemy leaders are more than you cannot get out. You have to fight. You cannot do any movement. Also, you have to consider that in the calculation of leaders, the control die is considered as a leader. So this could be the popularity or the militia of the area. So we have 3 against 1. The English decided to attack, but now they're stuck. They need to stay here. If the English were more, or the French now, for example, the French with their impulse, so the French. Now the English reach 3 impulses with this move. Now the French with 1 impulse, they have a 4. Now the French, because they are more, they have an option of moving a commander for somewhere else, maybe a different strategy. So maybe the French want to cross to the area of Tregor. So because they have more leaders, they have the option of moving 1 leader here. If you have more leaders in the province, and also you control the province, you have the ability to move your leaders. Still, the French are more. So now the English is the aggressor. The French did their impulses, 3, and we're going to see what else. There's 3 and 4 impulses remaining. Actually, it's 3 and 2, actually. Now, if the English here were more, so for example, let me give you an example. So you have 1 French commander, and you attacked from different areas with another 3 English commanders. Now, the English will have the ability to use an impulse because they are more than the French. There are 3 commanders in a province against the French commander and the control dice to move with 1 impulse the control of this area. That means that even before the battle, the French cannot get the command points or the army points from this province. So as long as you have more commanders, even in an area that's controlled by your enemy, if you attack with more commanders and you have the impulses, you have the ability to remove the control mark. So what do we do here? Let's say that we have a fight. We fight a battle. 2 English commanders against 1 French commander. We fight the battle on the battlefield. We fight the battle with the miniatures. So you see, it will have very many battles, this game, and then at the end of the game, regardless what's happened, regardless who won, regardless not who won, regardless what happened on the battlefield, if the units are destroyed or not, then we go back to the map. So there's a victory for the let's say it's a victory for the French. Now the English have to retreat. They have to retreat, and we have to see if their leaders are captured. So what's going to happen? The French leader adds his star, he's a 1-star leader, plus the number of the province number, that's 2, and he's a 3-star leader. So that's 3. Now the French will roll 3 dice. So the French will roll 3 dice, and if they roll a 6, the English commanders are captured. So it's basically 1 extra die. So let's see. So they roll a 4, a 4, a 4, a 1, and a 2. So nothing happens. The English are retreating. Now the English, in order to retreat, they have options. But it's not that easy. You have to think about it when you attack an area. They have to be able to retreat from an area that they could cross. So now the English are lucky. They can retreat along the mountains because the mountains allow 2 English leaders to cross, and fleeing will be the same. The English cannot cross and flee in an area that is occupied or controlled by an enemy. So here, where the French control the area of Tregor, the English cannot retreat here. They will be captured. The same is that the English cannot retreat here because this is controlled by the French as well. So the English retreat. None of the English commanders was captured, so the English retreat back here disgraced. That means they cannot do for 1 round nothing. The marker is the move, and the area will be controlled next time by the French. Now, if the English could not retreat, let's say if you had here a river in both areas, and only 1 commander could cross the river, because we know that if a river without a bridge, only 1 noble can cross it. You make a choice, and this noble would have been retreating, and this noble would have been captured. He would have been a prisoner for the French. Now let's see what happens with prisoners. I'm creating a prisoner box, but now we'll put it on the Brittany. Let's see. So here, let's say this is a prisoner box. The English leader is a 1-star leader, and he's captured. The French, the English, in order to get him back, they have 2 options. If they capture a French leader, who is a 1-star as well, then there can be an exchange of commanders. If the French have more, if the English have more commanders captured, obviously you do mathematics, and you get the leader that is equal. Obviously, your opponent will not agree to give you a 2-star leader. Now, if no leader from the French is captured, as we have now, and the English want him back, the English have an option. They have an option to remove a control marker of an area that has at least 1 point, the same with the star of their commander. Currently, the English have 3, 2, and 1. Here, let's go here. Here at Lyon, the English have a 1 province, 1 point province. So if the English want the commander desperately back, they can remove the control marker, and then they can get back their leader at any of the areas we said that is controlled by the English. So this is how you can get your commanders back. Now, this is basically the game. I've wrote the rules. I think it's quite interesting because except that the map movement and retreat provides a lot of strategic options regarding the different terrain types that divide the provinces. You have a lot of battles because you can imagine this area now. In the next turn, you can have more commanders. 1 for the English. You can put him in any area that you want that is controlled by the English, and 1 French. You can put him here. So you see the commanders piling up. The areas, the victory points are piling up, and new units are coming. And obviously, slowly, obviously you will decide where the commanders will go and up to what point you will have commanders, or you will replace the ones who die, because many commanders die. Now here in a situation like this, after 5-6 rounds, the area is congested by commanders, lower born or higher born, and you just kind of become more aggressive. But you always need to think of the division of the areas and your impulses. So for example, if the impulses were for the English would like to attack the Brosont-Malo area that has 2 points, but they cannot. The Oust River divides these 2 areas, so they have to cross with 1 commander. It will be better to have a 1-star leader. The French have already 2 here. In this area, the English can become more aggressive. It's woods that divides Penthievre with their Vance area, so they can. With 1 impulse, they can move 2 commanders and get immediately, because they have the upper hand. They are more than the French. They can remove their control marker, and thus remove the points from the French. Well, at the end, this will not be added. A lot of battles can be made, commanders will die. So I think in this way, the campaign is very, very interesting, I think. I think it looks really, really good. And I think following Warriors of God rules, in basically copy-paste, removing a lot of stuff, obviously, you can enjoy a battle and you can enjoy a campaign. I think this setup looks good. Now, something else I wanted to mention is that, so we have here two English commanders, let's say attacking a French commander here in the area of Montfort, a controlled area of controlled by the French. Now, the French commander can offer a siege if he sees that he doesn't have a lot of chances, or if he sees that, you know, he has more chances by offering a siege, he can offer a siege. So what he will do, he will fall back at the main city and he will offer a siege. How you calculate the number of the siege? It's the star number of the leader, so he's a 1-star leader, plus the area number, it's a 2, plus the control point, the control dice, let's say. This means basically the populace is with you. It's a 4. So it's 2, 3, and 4. So the English have to roll 1d6, 4, minus the leadership of the highest leader of the two attacking. Both of them are 1-star, so -1. It's a 3. So the English have to roll a 3, and they roll a 5, and the siege fails. And the commander that offered the siege is captured. So this guy will become a prisoner of the English and will have the same procedure as we did before. So a capture commander from the... Otherwise, if the French won, the English had to flee, and then we have the same combination. The French commander has 1-star, and the 2 points of the province is 3, and 1 for the control is 4. So he will roll 4 dice, and he will see if he rolls a 6, English commanders are not fleeing and captured. If the English commanders could not flee anyway because of terrain obstruction, then they would have been captured anyway. So to continue where we left before the camera closed, the English will have to retreat from areas that they would be able to cross. If you had a river here, for example, in all these areas, and one commander can cross from the river, as we said, unless there is a bridge where you have 3, one English commander would have crossed and the other would have been captured. If all the areas were occupied by enemy, both commanders would have been captured. So in order for you to do your strategy, attack, fight a siege, if your opponent offers you a siege, you have to check exactly your strategy, which areas, which provinces are yours, what is the escape route, developments around your area, what kind of terrains you have. All these play an important role. And obviously you have you get better commanders, better leaders, maybe 3-star leader if you have more armies than I have here, so you can have more miniatures, and there are specific rules of recruiting. You can get any armies you want, any units you want, except chevaliers and veteran men-at-arms that can be commanded only by 2-star leaders in this case. So and there are a specific number, you can recruit them only in the major cities, in the provinces that the initial 2 factions start, and that is the Nantes area and Rennes area. Only here you can recruit chevaliers. So I think the Warriors of God revised rules work really well. Anyway, guys, this is from me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And hopefully tomorrow we will shoot our first campaign. I'm really excited. Thank you. Bye-bye.